Well, good morning, commuters. I'm Matt Malone, and this is the Commute podcast. Oh, up early today again. Not as early as yesterday, though. Just an hour early. I got to be at work at 6 instead of 7, so I can make it to the job site by 7. It's summer, man. This is the summer push. Ford Escape 82,798 miles. I remember every single mile I put on this thing vividly. I have a vivid memory of every single mile. Oh, what are we going to talk about today? I don't know. I do need a haircut, though. Samantha's always giving me crap about how I just go to like Great Clips, get a $12 haircut. Well, what's the big deal? I show up to the haircut place with long hair and I leave with short hair. And that is a transaction. I got my money's worth. What's the problem? They're not doing anything fancy. There's nothing wrong with a $12 haircut from Great Clips, okay? I should go get it cut, though. It's a little long, especially because it's summer. I don't like messing with it. It's nice to just wake up and don't have to do much prep time. You know, I kind of envy people that just go straight bald. You know, maybe they got a little bald spot right here that starts to show, and they're like, going all in, let's just mow her down. But you gotta have, like, some people just don't look good with their head shaved. And then you gotta be shaving it all the time. I go with the see, if I'm paying for a $12 haircut, that's what you're gonna look like, a 12-year-old. The cheaper you spend on a haircut, that's the younger it looks. See, I got it all figured out. A 35-year-old man with a 12-year-old haircut for only $12. I'm thinking, you know? So y'all seem to like the audio. Audio seems to be good. And this is the true test. Going full speed on these rough roads. So yeah, hopefully we got that figured out. But, oh man, what are we going to talk about? What do you guys want to talk about? We could talk about... we could talk about politics. You know, Donald J. Trump. He's actually my grandfather. I seen him at a couple of family reunions. His wife is my uncle's cousin, twice removed. From my cousin's a bastard child, and there was a situation in Vietnam where you know, people get lonely, you know. So in some way, Donald Trump, I think what they said is he's my grandpa, so I got that going for me. He calls me every once in a while. He's like, Hey, Matt Malone. Hey, what do you think we ought to do with this Iran situation? I'm like, yeah, you gotta do what's right, you know. You gotta do what's right, you know. Think it over. But if you need me, call me, you know. You're gonna be bringing the potato salad to the family reunion. We need a good potato salad. Oh, family reunions are the best, aren't they? I remember growing up as a young lad, it's like, oh, this weekend's a big Malone family reunion. There's a bunch of old people you don't know, eating food you never seen before, and outside in the heat, there'd be flies everywhere. So what's going on with you, young kid? Well, what have you been up to? I ride my bike and I go to school. Ah, that's good. Yeah, that's real good. You'll be somebody someday. Well, back when I was your age, we used to cut the legs off a bullfrog just for the hell of it. Yeah, Look at this scar on it. Look at this scar. I remember back in 48, I was fixing a transmission and dang thing slipped right off, cut me. Oh, that's nice. The stories. No, my real grandpa. I have no living grandparents. But when my one grandpa, my dad's dad was alive, he was a car guy, and my dad's a car guy. Like older cars, they like to restore them. And my grandpa was into Model Ts, and since he passed, rest his soul, he's a good man. He's a quality man, a real man's man, you know. He had 3 Model Ts, and we still have them in the family. And my dad keeps up with them and make sure they're running good. We use them for all sorts of stuff. You know, parades or just family reunions or, you know, car shows. You know, just mess around with them, have fun with them the way they're meant to be. You know, you're not supposed to, in my opinion, a lot of people will restore a vehicle and they just put a cover on it and they put it in the garage to never be seen again. Yeah, that's my bread and butter. That's my baby. Like, yeah, well, can we enjoy it? No. It's not for driving. It's not for enjoying. You can't even look at it. Don't look at it. The more you look at it, it's gonna start rusting. Don't even look at it. But that's not the way we operate. We, our family, they'll restore cars and actually enjoy them, drive them. So that's the way to do it. But my grandpa, he had a old Model T Ford. I believe that thing was a 1926 Model T. And I remember when I was in high school, my grandpa and my dad were restoring it. And my dad painted it a beautiful hunter green, nice dark green. And it still runs good to this day. And my dad keeps up with it. And the paint job my dad put on it is still holding up. I mean, this was 20-some years ago. And if you've never driven a Model T from back in the day, you should, because it is one hell of an experience. It's so crazy to think about the how far we've come with automobiles just in my lifetime, or even in just the last 100 years. It's crazy. Like a Model T, if I remember this correctly, there's a couple of pedals. There's a lever right here that, you know, like the older cars, like the old cruisers, you'd have like a lever shifter up here. A lot of cars still have it. My Ford Ranger still has it in my work truck. But so what you would do is, if I remember this correctly, you guys would know, some of you, is you get it going. I don't know how you start them. But one of them is the brake, and one of them is the gear shifter is one of the pedals. And if you're pressing, you push down with your foot on one of the pedals, and now that's a low gear. Okay, there's only 2 gears in some of these. I can only explain the one that we have. So the throttle, what would be the gas pedal, the throttle is just a lever on the column. And so you get it, you rev it up to the thing, and then as you're pushing down, I could be getting this wrong. You're pushing down on the pedal, and you're revving it up, and you're in low gear. So you're going, you know. You got the pedal held down, you got it throttled up. You throttle up to max speed for that gear, and then you drop the throttle, you let go of the pedal, and then you throttle it back up, and now you're in high gear. And that's it. Away you go. You're in high gear. You're going about 30, 35 miles an hour, going downhill with the wind. And you're just cruising, man. It's like self-cruise control. Because once you let go of the pedal, you're in high gear, and you got the throttle up, you're cruising. You're done. All you're doing is just steering, looking around. It's the wildest thing. And I remember, it's been years since I drove that thing. But my dad will take it to family reunions and get some of the not the young kids. Like the young kids will sit on his lap, but I remember this one family reunion where he printed out like licenses. So if you're able to drive the Model T, he would give you a license. It says you are now licensed to drive the Ford Model T. So I think it's good to expose children to what it used to be like back in the day, man. Back in the day when you had 40 acres, you were planting some oats for the horses, you know. But it's so funny is to look back and you see the old, like the very first car ever made is literally like as if you took a horse and buggy, but then you just removed the horse. So it just looked like a buggy with no horse. I bet you that was the craziest thing to see back in the day when you saw the first car. It's like, how's that guy going anywhere? He's like, what the hell? That's just a buggy. Where's his horse? How's he going? That guy lost his horse. Old Billy from over on 4th Street. He done lost his horse. We gotta look for his horse. He's riding around with just a buggy. I bet it was the wildest thing because they didn't know what a car was supposed to look like, right? They're just like, well, we got this horse and buggy, and well, I put a motor on the buggy, and now we don't need the horse. Let's just disconnect the horse, and now we got a buggy. I bet it was wild. Almost like, I mean, well, it's probably no comparison, but kind of like when you first started seeing Teslas. Maybe. I mean, I can't really think of a good comparison to something like that. But maybe when you first start seeing Teslas and there's like no grill on them, you know, and it's just really, they're not making any noise. You know, I'm sure it was even wilder than that. But yeah, I've never seen one in real life, but the footage I've seen where it's just a horseless buggy. Look at him go! Oh my God! But oh man. Yeah, like old Todd from down south, he's doing pretty good, you know. Where do they get all that money from? He's got a horseless buggy. They probably think it was the devil. Be like, oh man, he's got that devil magic working. You know, he's got one of them combustible engines. But yeah, the old Model T cruise around. You ever go to car shows? Bunch of old men, half asleep, sitting in their lawn chair, having a cup of coffee. People, what year is it? It's a 26. It's a 26. Oh yeah, they made them good back in 26. But yeah, I had the drive shaft. Replaced back in 58. It's a good one. So people just old men. I don't know what it is about them. Just hanging out around cars, and you can talk to anybody, tell stories. That's what it's all about, right? Reminiscing. When you get to a certain age, I would imagine that you're not really creating any stories. You can only reminisce about what happened back in the day. Samantha always tells me, you're going to be a great old man. You've already repeated like 4 or 5 stories to me since we've been married. We've only been married a year. I guess I've been repeating stories already. Oh my gosh. My grandpa was so good at that. He would, my grandpa, his name was Frank Malone. And he's a great guy. He's just old school, you know. And I got a lot of Frank in me, you know, people tell me. But his thing was, he would go to McDonald's every single day at 4:30 p.m. to have dinner, right? To have dinner at 4:30, right? No joke. I actually experienced this myself. I witnessed this myself because one time he took me to McDonald's for dinner. No joke. He walks in, and the people behind the counter, it was like clockwork. 4:30, boom, he's there, right? And the people behind the counter be like, oh, hey, Frank, here you go. And they would hand him I know he got chicken McNuggets. I don't know what else. Chicken McNuggets and like something else. I don't know. It was something else. I know he got like a drink and chicken nuggets, but there was something else I forget. I was a pretty young kid. But hey, Frank, and they would hand him his food as he walked in. Now that is frickin' service, man. I'm telling you, he had it figured out. Yeah, you can say what you will, but my goodness, be able to just walk right into a restaurant and have them hand you food, and then he would pay with like exact change because he knew exactly how much it was going to be, and then we'd go sit down. I would order my food, obviously. I was probably like messing with his schedule, be like, yeah, get my grandson something too, But that's amazing. That was amazing, like to see that happen. Even if I were to see it now, I'd be more impressed. But back then, you're just kind of like, how you are when you're a kid. You're just like in a daze. Like, oh, okay, Grandpa, sure. Oh, McDonald's. I like French fries. So yeah, you just walk right in. The food was ready. They give me, hey Frank, how you doing? Yeah, okay. So I wonder if like when he died or something, or he stopped going, they're probably worried about him. You hear about that sometimes, where like some old guy always goes into a diner and then he stops going, and then the wait staff like gets worried and they call someone, and then they end up going to his house and he's dead. That's happened before. But old people, they got their routine, man. He was definitely based on, his life was run by routine. And well, the moral of the story is he would go and eat so early. So he'd go and have dinner at 4:30. So then after dinner from McDonald's, he would go visit all of his kids' house, like my dad, and he had like 4 or 5 kids. I got a lot of aunts and uncles, and like 3 or 4 of them live in the same area, or did. And so then he would drop by everybody's house while they were having dinner, so he could sit at the dinner table and talk while we ate our dinner. And my parents would always get like kind of annoyed, and I always enjoyed it because he would tell stories. Sometimes it was the same story, but it was like he'd throw in an extra detail every once in a while or something, or he'd hear something he didn't catch before. It was like rewatching the same movie over and over. Like he'd catch something that he didn't catch before, And my mom especially would just get so annoyed. And even at the time, I was like, anywhere from like 12 to 16 years old. I'm like, come on, like, he's an old man. He's telling stories, like, he's not going to be around forever. Like, even then I realized that, which was good because it made me appreciate it more. I was like, let the man tell his stories, She's like, well, dinner time is for us family and for our family to, have our time together, which is true. I understand that as well, but so there's one classic thing and my mom still cringes to this day about it, is you got the ketchup bottle on the table, right? And maybe it's running low or something, and you go to squeeze it, it makes that fart noise, it means it's running low. And without fail, my grandpa would always say, hey, why don't you put a little water in that bottle and swish it around a little bit, get the rest of it out of there. And my mom would just absolutely be infuriated about it. And I don't really, I guess I remember a little bit of this, but my mom, she's like, you used to make sure that if there was a ketchup bottle in the fridge running low, you would always grab it, even if we didn't need the ketchup for that day, just to I guess I would egg him on a little bit to see if he would say it or not. I mean, like, ketchup's running a little low, Gramps. What do you think we ought to do? You got any advice for us? So I guess I would egg him on a little bit, but it was just great. But just like that classic old man, he'd tell stories, and it was interesting stories. Like sometimes my dad would he'd tell a story and it was a little like risque, and my dad would look over and be like, yeah, well, times were different back then, It's like, holy cow. Sometimes he'd get into like his medical issues, and I'm really bad at I can't watch a movie like that has like gore in it, or any type of like medical stuff while I'm eating, like I just can't handle it. Like I just won't do it. Or like if you see like a burn victim on TV, I like have to stop eating. I'm like, that's gross. But not that I can't handle it. I just can't handle eating while watching it, or listening to somebody explain like their surgery or something. So, you know, he was getting older in years and he was having medical issues. And my aunt is a nurse, and so they would always consult, and he'd be telling stories like, I got this thing on my lower back or something. Be like, I don't know, it's like bulging out, there's pus-filled stuff, and I think there's something growing on there. I'm like, Grandpa, please, I'm trying to eat here. So yeah, some of that stuff was like, dude, calm down, bro. We're trying to eat here. I don't want to hear about your goiter, you know. So, oh my gosh. But he was a great guy. His wife kind of died a little bit early. I never really met her. She died when I was really young, and she died for good reasons. I mean, I heard stories. She would literally like eat lard, like by the spoonful. Like she would cook everything in lard, which lard isn't the worst thing to cook in. You know, you just don't want to overdo it. From what I've been told, from my extensive YouTube research over the years of what I've seen, is that margarine and Crisco is the stuff you want to stay away from, apparently. But if you use real stuff like butter and lard, any type of animal fat to like cook in, that's what you want to do. All this fake margarine and stuff like that is really not good for you. Olive oil, like extra virgin olive oil, I've heard bad things, I've heard good things, like the Mediterranean diet, like they use a lot of oils, and I've heard that oils are okay as long as you don't overdo it. But the problem with oils is that if you get it really hot, like if you're searing something in a pan, or if you get the oils extremely hot, it's bad for you. It's like deep frying, you know, like it's bad for you. But whatever, I've heard different things about that. I'm not too concerned. But anyway, so yeah, she would use a lot of lard to cook in, and you know, you can overdo it. And she used to eat a lot of bacon, I guess. Her cooking strategy were crazy. I guess she would wake up and she would put a pot of green beans on the stove and boil them until dinner. And my dad was like, yeah. He's like, they were like, she would cook everything out, like it would just be mush, and it would lose all of its color, and it would just taste like nothing, because she would just cook the ever-loving crap out of it. It's like, what is wrong with people? But anyway, I guess like if you have like let's say you ate like a bunch of pork one day, like let's say you had pork chops for dinner, and at the end of the dinner, she would, like, people would have their plates, you know, and you don't eat all of a pork chop. Like, you leave the bone, maybe you leave some of the gristle, you know, you don't eat all the gristle or the fat around the surrounding part of the pork chop. She would clean everyone's plates and eat all of the fat that people left behind. So she died early. She was obese. She's a diabetic. You're like, yeah, I wonder why. But I never really knew her. I've seen pictures of her, and woof, she's a big lady. She was wearing like one of those moo-moos, you know? Like, that's the only thing that fits. But I mean, she wasn't like massive huge, but she was a bigger lady, you know? She's not like a candidate for a 600-pound life or anything. But they used to, you know, but you used to have to work a lot. She'd be working outside a lot, so anyway, she died early, so my grandpa was kind of a widower. A widow is a female. Is there a female male version of the word widow? You can be a widower. I think that's the male version. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments. I don't know if there's a masculine or feminine version of the word widow, because when I hear the word widow, I think female, and I guess that's mostly how it goes. I mean, usually the guy dies first, right? Women usually live longer. Anyway, so my grandpa was just usually like, single and ready to mingle. He actually did have like kind of like a girlfriend, like a lady friend. I forget. I think he called her like my lady friend because he would always hang out with this woman, and she very, very much resembled his past wife, my grandma, which was kind of funny. You got taste. My grandpa liked them big. I tell you. But yeah, they would just kind of hang out. I don't think there's anything going on as far as I don't even want to think about it. But yeah, so I remember when he did finally pass away. It's really sad, you spend your whole life accumulating things and living your life and doing your thing. And I just remember being, I was like 16 or 17 years old, and we had an auction, and there I am on top of a hay wagon, surrounded by all of his life's things, gadgets, doodles, stuff like that. The crap that you accumulate ends up getting put in boxes, spread out over a hay trailer, and they're auctioning it boxes off at a time for 50 cents to $1. And I just remember, like, here's a box of stuff, and the auctioneer would be like, okay, we got a box of what is that? Oh, an empty milk carton. Oh, well, is the lid attached? Hey, it's got a lid, folks. We're going to start at a quarter. Hey, quarter. And just like, what is all this stuff? A lot of it was like car parts, but a lot of it was just like stuff that you accumulate. It's just garbage, but we auctioned it all off. Some of the stuff he had a lot of just wheel, like rims from old cars, like the old wooden spoke rims from like the Model Ts and stuff. He had a lot of those, but yeah, probably the car parts were probably the most, but even some of that stuff was just kind of junk. My dad's like, I don't know why he held on to some of this stuff. He got a good deal on it, and he just kind of let it sit. Some of it would rust out. A wooden rim cannot rust out, but certain car parts just rust out just over time. But it's kind of sad. Like, you can't take it with you, man. They're not gonna put all that stuff in the coffin for you and let you take it with you. What are you gonna do with it? So you gotta, and we live in a society now where it's just totally consumer driven. It's like, what's the next biggest thing? Everyone's getting a new iPhone every year, and it's like, well, and half of that is designed obsolescence, where they design things now that only has a 2-year turnaround at the most. Even just random stuff like, I don't know, just stuff that you accumulate. You're like, well, go to Walmart, we need another one of these. Be like, didn't we just buy one of those a year ago? Yeah, but it's broken, or it doesn't work, or you convince yourself that the new one is better. It's just ridiculous, man. And back in the day, they used to make things out of steel, out of wrought iron, out of solid metal. Stuff wouldn't, stuff would last forever. Like, some of the old guys, they know, like, certain tools, man, like, you don't mess around with. Like, yeah, I had this set of wrenches from the 60s, never failed me. Now you go to Walmart, you can get a set of wrenches for like $1, and like the first nut you try to tighten, the wrench bends. It's like, oh well, yeah, that's great. They don't make it like they used to. So hey, you can't take any of this stuff with you, so what are you gonna do with it? Does it give you any, you can, People with a really nice car, what do they want? They want a nicer car. People with a big house, what do they want? They want a bigger house. People with all the gadgets, all the tech, what do they want? They want the better tech. So it's like this constant need to like try to fulfill a void that you have that consumables will never fill. Temporarily it does, and that's why you get the endorphin rush and the sense of accomplishment when you get something new, trying to fill that void, but it's always temporary. It's like me at a buffet. I'm gonna go get me a pound of mashed potatoes. Woo, still hungry. Better go get me something else. I know. You're just always constantly trying to fill a void where, material things will never satisfy in the long term. So you better figure out that quicker than later. I mean, there's always some things that you need or you want to do, or you buy something that's going to allow you to do something else. Like you're not buying it just for the object. You're buying it so you can go do this or, have a life experience, or like the bicycle stuff we were talking yesterday. I'm not going to be like super happy about spending money on a bicycle and just looking at it like, oh wow, look at my bike, oh it's so great, it's the Walmart special with a bent rim, or whatever. I'm buying it for the experience of spending time with my wife and having experiences and creating memories. That's what is going to fill the void, not just the fact that you bought something. And that's why I think with like technology, and especially cell phones. I go back to cell phones. Like people see the new latest cell phone, they're like, "Oh, look, it's got 28 cameras. It's even got a. You push this button, a spoon comes out, so you can have your soup in the morning." No, it's like what? They're like, "Oh, I gotta have it. And at the end of the day, you get your phone, and what are you doing? You're just scrolling on Instagram, scrolling on Facebook, scrolling on Twitter. You're still using it for the same thing. Most of the features on these phones you're not even using, right? Most people don't even know that most of these features even exist on their phone. Like, yeah, I can see like, oh, it's got the greatest camera ever. It's like, okay, was the photos you were taking of your salad, yesterday just as good? Yeah, it's fine. You're not, it's so stupid, but it's a social points kind of thing. Like, I got the latest one. I got people in my family that are like always have to have like the latest iPhone. It's like, why? It's like, what are you doing with it? Like, I seen you post some stuff on Facebook. You can do that. You can do that with an iPhone 2. They're like, oh wow, look at this picture I took. Oh wow, yeah, that's great. Looks like you took that picture with your cell phone. It's like, well, what's the deal here? But anyway, so yeah, I mean, I guess the moral of the story is buy a flip phone? No, that's not it. How long are we going? Over 30 minutes. Okay. I didn't think I was going to be able to talk about anything. It's like I was thinking, I'm like, man, what am I going to talk about? But I guess we got that taken care of. Doing a podcast like every single day for like 30 minutes. I was thinking maybe that's a little too much. Maybe I should limit myself to like twice a week so I have something to talk about. But I guess that's yet to be seen. I do have some stuff. People have been asking like, hey, why don't you do a whole podcast just on the Optavia diet stuff? I'm like, okay, that's going to be a little sellouty. And to be honest, we haven't been super strict about it. But I'd like to lose another 10 pounds or so I should really get back and get super strict about it. But I can explain kind of my, I'll do an episode about it, kind of how we got started and what we went through and the changes we saw and how it goes and stuff. But people accuse me of like trying to sell it. But anyway, yeah, people also asking if I can get this stuff on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. I looked into it real briefly yesterday, and I have to make it easy for myself. And it's an MP4 file, and I was able to upload an MP4. It's a video file format, right? It's just what I downloaded from YouTube. I was able to upload that to SoundCloud, and it just makes it into audio. So but I have to go on my computer and do that, so I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. If you guys know any like easy way, if I can do it using my mobile phone, if I can just upload the actual raw video to SoundCloud using my phone, let me know. But hope you guys are enjoying the podcast. Hopefully we got the audio thing figured out. I was yelling. My voice was risen pretty high. This would be a perfect test for it. I would say this is going to be a good test for it. So Matt Malone TV for Instagram and Twitter. Matt Malone for Twitch. I'm going to really try to stream today. Sorry about yesterday. I was just too tired, man. Woke up too early, and we just kind of hung out and chilled, watched a movie. And we were in bed pretty early. So going to try to stream today, depending on how this particular job I'm going to today goes. I don't know if they're going to work late or not. So I'm starting early, so in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, I should get off a little earlier, normal time, So we'll see how it goes. There was something else. And if you want to join the YouTube channel, there is a join button. It costs money. You pay monthly to be a member of the YouTube channel. It works kind of like Twitch. Just throwing it out there. No pressure or nothing. And I hope you guys have a great day today. It's a beautiful day. I tell you, enjoy the summer and be safe out there. And, speaking of grandparents and stuff, if you haven't talked to your grandparents in a while, give them a shout, give them a holler, throw them a text, or, give them a message on Facebook. Or old people are on Facebook. Even your grandpa's on Facebook, right? So just reach out. If it's been a while, reach out, because, before you know it, you'll be like me and you won't have any grandparents, and you'll kind of be kicking yourself. Be like, oh man, I should have talked to him more. I should have spent more time with him. So just keep it all in perspective, and reach out if it's been a while, and all that good stuff. So anyway, have a great day, commuters. Be safe out there. Go the speed limit. I'm watching you. Bye.